you can add lips or whatever you feel like. Again, you don't want to kind of shape it so it doesn't look like he's yelling or in shock all the time. Give him a little smile. Now, when you save this as your symbol, you are stuck with essentially the shape that you save it as. So if you wanted a mouth that moved dynamically, you have to basically make many different mouths and hide them as you don't need them, and that's tricky. But you could do that if you wanted to make it a little bit more dynamic animation. But if we're just kind of making the simple, straightforward animation, we can do this very easily. Alright, so that's our mouth. Again, same thing. We select it. If you want to save it manually, if you don't want to hit F8, just go to new symbol and name that mouth. And let's go back. Same thing as hitting F8. Yes, I already named it. Alright, fine. There, mouth 2. Okay. So now you can see our list of symbols. If you want to alter them manually, you can hit Apple L to take you to your library. And we made an extra mouth which doesn't exist, so we'll just trash that. Don't need that anymore. Put our library over here. You can see what you did for each individual symbol. So now that you have symbols, we have 4 symbols. It means we have basically 4 independent parts that we can move. But in our animation, we're only just going to move the eyes, the mouth, and you know what? We should add a little bit of hair. Let's go back and add a layer here. Let's not make everybody look bald. So let's add some hair. Alright, and to add hair you can do various things. You can make shapes. So say they have brown hair. You can make a shape. And I know that doesn't look like hair quite yet. I want it above. You can also see where you position your layers. Will show you basically where your symbol will show up. So it's basically a hierarchical. Whatever's on top of each other will essentially be what it is, where it's going to be. So you can change your symbols a lot. You can change the way that your shapes are made very, very simply. Now let's just let's say we wanted to do another shape to get it a little bit more dynamic. There we go. You're going to see it kind of snaps to the other shape. And now we have ourselves a little bit nicer looking hair. A little bit. Suddenly now this is a woman, not a man. And it lets you keep the integrity of the previous shape, which is different from previous version of Flash, which is great. So you don't lose that original shape. It's still there. And let's bring that in just a little bit. Alright, and then we like that. We're going to copy it, paste it, go to modify, transform, let's flip it horizontal, and let's make it equal on the other side. Kind of even it out there. Alright, now we have a real nice looking person here. Actually kind of funky without a nose. Let's add a nose. Just to make sure that we get a real face. But before we do that, can't forget, let's make the hair symbol. Call it hair. Very good. Now let's make a nose, and if you want to make a simple nose, if it's not going to be doing a whole lot of nose-like things, I just use a line. And you pick your color black, and make sure you choose the right layer. There we go. And let's make a nose. And it doesn't need to be that straight. Angle it just a bit. There we go. That's a nice looking nose. And finally we hit F8, save it as a symbol. Alright, now we have ourselves a real face. Again, this is our list of symbols. We can look at them all here individually. If you ever wanted to change a symbol, let's just say we wanted to go back to the hair. Well, you just there. Oh, the hair, not the. There we go. There. Now we can go in and alter the hair independently, and we don't have to worry about changing the other symbols. We can move it up or down. We can change an angle if we want. For example, we could. I could maybe do something. Alright. Anyways, you get the idea. It's a very simple alteration process. Double click, you're back into the scene. Alright, so this is our face. Now, you can see I lock all these layers because just in case if you're moving a layer, you're trying to animate a layer, you don't want to animate or move any of the other layers. And you want to make sure that you basically keep everything very, very much the same from frame to frame. So we're just going to try about 2 seconds or so. And I'm just going to add in 2 seconds of frames by, this is what happens is you just select all the different layers and you just simply right click on what's selected and you put insert frame. So right click is the key in Flash. You can also control click in Apple, but so basically the way that animation works is this keyframe tween animation. So our keyframe is a frame that is the beginning of the animation, and then you end with another keyframe, and then in between, literally, that's where you get the word tween. You can say create motion tween, and that way it will literally put in the in-between frames for you, and you don't have to do it by yourself. So let's start with moving his eyes, or her eyes. I can't tell if this is a universally gendered cartoon character. So let's just put in a quick, let's say about 5 frames in. Let's put in a keyframe. Okay. And let's move the eyes down just a little bit. They kind of look down. Okay. For about a split second, insert another keyframe. So they look down for a second and then we move them back up. And looks at the camera. Or looks at you. Alright, so here they move down. Here they don't do anything, but we want a separate keyframe so that they can stay down for a second, and then here they are looking back up. So we go here, we just select any number of frames in this area, say create motion tween, boom. We do it the same thing here, we select any area inside our range, create motion tween, boom. And then you can see as we go through the frames, there it is. It's an animation. Very simple. They look down, they look back up. Alright, so let's go now to the mouth. Let's say they look down, they see something that they like, then they're going to look up and smile. Their mouth will get bigger. So that usually is a much longer process than the eyes, so relatively speaking. So let's have about, that's like what? About 8 frames, 8 or so frames. Alright, so we can go here. This is the free transform tool. We can select our mouth, and we can do all sorts of things.